Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's live. Hopefully, you guys are having a really good Thursday. We're almost to the end of the work week, so hopefully, you guys are having a great Thursday. I got this in here. Funky. Sorry, guys. It's always something. My light was like half on the desk. I didn't want to have a accident there. But if you're new to the channel, hi, hello, welcome. I'm Tanya or Titanium Built, and we do talk all things true crime here on this channel. So if you're over on the Unfiltered channel, we're over there running lives as we're running them on the Titanium Built channel. So if you want to come and hang out over here, I'll drop the link because this is where the larger of the chats will be. But we are running on both channels. So thank you guys for being here. I do appreciate that. If you guys don't mind taking a second, hit the like button, say hello to the people in the chat. Maybe you'll make a friend. Maybe you'll make a friend tonight in the chat. You never know. You never know. We're pretty nice. Pretty nice here. Catherine was number one. Look at that. Welcome in, Ladybug. Welcome in. Hey, Mary Beth. How are you doing today? Again. Hey, Cheryl. Vince was like, you went live early today. I said, yeah. Trying to fit two of them in. Hey, Ashley, welcome in. It's good to see you guys. I won't make you guys wait for me to say hi to everybody, but I'm going to say hi to as many people as I can on the way down. Hey, Yvonne. Hey, Catherine with the C, Catherine with the K, Aries, KW, Glowbug. Welcome in, everybody. ALR, Ladybug. I think I already said that once, but maybe not. Maybe not. Lenora, welcome in, everybody. It's good to see you guys. Hey, Larry. It's good to see you guys tonight. We're going to talk Idaho 4. Is there... I was thinking about this before the live because I feel like we've picked up new subscribers with us covering the Sebastian Rogers case, just like we did when we picked up and we ran with, when we started covering the Idaho 4 case. Do you think, does anybody need like a timeline? That's what I was trying to say. Couldn't think of what I was going to say. Does anyone need like a little timeline? Everyone know what this case is about? Because I feel like we're going to get to a point where we're going to have to start like reminding ourselves, like I do with our other cases. I usually do that with every case when we open it up. I usually, we'll give you guys like a timeline or just like lay it out or something. But this case is the one case I've never had to go back. I mean, we've always went back and talked about it, but we've never had to go back and give anybody that, the heads up. So there are some court documents out. There's a new article that was in the Idaho Statesman about Ann Taylor. She has a new client. And then Vinnie Politan did a thing for Court TV. It's like an Idaho Investigates. And he talked to Kaylee Goncalves' parents. So he talked to Kristi and Steve. So we'll see what they have to say in that as well. I wonder if I don't know what this means. I'm going to exit. I don't know what that meant. Okay. I'm like, we're here. Welcome in. USA Kiwi. Plexus. Welcome in. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, guys. Welcome on in. Thank you. I appreciate it. So there is new documents that come out, just nothing important. Nothing like huge. Nothing important. I mean, really. But we're here, so we might as well look at them, while we're here. But it's just a defendant's 16th supplemental request for discovery. They want more discovery. I guess they don't have enough. I don't know. She says she has enough. She has too much. But that's what they're saying. And then, we've seen these a million times, so I don't have to read through it for you guys or to you guys, but it's just evidence and materials outlined in Exhibit O. Wow, that's a lot of exhibits. Do you think that this is going to be a long trial? I think it's going to be like pretty long, I feel like. Now we'll have to see. I don't know. We'll have to see, but I think it's going to be a pretty long case or trial. Lenora, I had to ask. Whenever I saw Monroe County, I was like, Monroe County, that's Pennsylvania. But I wasn't even thinking about Brian, but I was in my subconscious. What did he say? He said, yes. He was probably like, yeah, I do. And I do. Well, I mean, his first attorney didn't do him any favors. I don't think. That guy wanted to talk. He was like, I can't talk. I don't know. That first attorney was, he was definitely a pro bono attorney. Like, to me, I don't know. Like, he was different. I can't even think of his name now, but yeah, he only came out and did a few interviews because he didn't have anything to say. He told Brian not to tell him anything, which was smart. That was actually smart because I'm surprised he did that because most people would want to know. You know what I mean? Like, you have that little bit of a you'd have to want to know, did you do it, buddy? Did you do it? Good evening, Mystic. Welcome in, everybody that's coming in. And I mean, the longer this goes, I think the more people may actually be in support of Brian. Just saying. Because, Ann Taylor's doing her job. She's definitely doing her job. It says attorney for Idaho murder suspect Brian Kohberger to lead defense in second capital case. So she's going to have her hands full. She'll have her hands full. The lead attorney for Brian Kohberger, the man charged with killing 4 University of Idaho students in November 2022, now will simultaneously lead the defense in a second high-profile North Idaho capital murder case. So she's going to have 2 of them. Where's Jay Logston? I've been asking about him like every live that we've done on Idaho for the past 2 months. I haven't seen him. I mean, I wonder, is he are you still out there? We need proof of life or something. Ann Taylor, Kohberger's top public defender, was assigned Wednesday to head up the defense for Skylar Meade, according to court documents or records obtained by the Idaho Statesman. The Idaho prisoner is charged with unaliving a Julietta man in Nez Perez County after escaping from corrections officers at a hospital in Boise during a shootout in March. Wow. Nice guy. Like Kohberger, Meade, 32, faces the DP if found guilty by a jury. Kohberger's M trial is scheduled to start in June 2025, while Meade is set to be arraigned Thursday at the Nez Perez County Courthouse. I wonder if that'll be probably not. I wonder if it'll be televised, not televised, but Court TV, if they'll be there. Or if anybody, because I like to see Ann in action. I'd watch it. I'd watch it just to see how she does. What she says, and I'd be curious. So initially, Lewiston-based private attorney Rick Caudill, I don't know how to say it, Caudill, was assigned to represent Meade, but Caudill is qualified only to act as co-counsel in a death penalty eligible defense, which required appointing a lead to join him on Meade's case. Ann is one of 13 public defenders in the state approved by the Idaho Public Defenders Commission to work as the lead in a DP case. She's also the only one of the group based in North Idaho. Wow. Taylor left her position last month as the chief of Kootenai County Public Defender's Office and has transitioned into private practice, court records showed. We knew she was leaving, but I didn't realize that she had already pieced out. Wow, and she's already, man, okay. I bet that money coming in helped you with that private practice. You know what I'm saying, Ann? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? $200 an hour. I mean, that helped. That could help fund a private practice. A representative at Taylor's office declined to comment when reached by phone Wednesday by the Statesman. Taylor also did not respond to an email seeking comment. Earlier this year, Taylor appeared before an Idaho Senate committee to explain how the small group of death penalty eligible public defenders in the state creates a limit of number of death penalty cases prosecutors in Idaho can pursue. Being one of 13 means that I am one of the few in Idaho. I'm the only in North Idaho that can handle a DP case. Since we only have 2 at a time, you can imagine how fast those obligations will fill up. Taylor was assigned to Kohberger's case in December 2022 after he was arrested. The 29-year-old former Washington State University graduate student is charged in the stabbing deaths of U of I students Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogan, both 21, and Xana Kernodle, Neitha Chapin, both 20. Prosecutors announced in June 2023 that they'll seek the death penalty for Kohberger if he's convicted. So, and then the rest is just about Meade. Now, has anybody been following that case? I haven't. I haven't followed his case. We'll see what the other one's about. In March, Meade, who was serving a 10-year prison sentence at the Idaho Maximum Security Institution, was taken to St. Athanasius Regional Medical Center in Boise after prosecutors said he faked an injury. We've heard that before. Meade had coordinated a plan to escape from the Boise hospital with the help of co-conspirator Nicholas umpire, authority said. Umfenauer, I think that's the last name, has been accused of shooting 2 corrections officers while they loaded Meade into the prison van outside of the hospital, according to testimony from law enforcement during one of Meade's hearings. Wow. The 3rd officer was shot and injured by a Boise officer, the police agency said. All of the officers survived. That's good. I didn't know. Wow, that's really good. The men were able to escape custody and drove 6 hours to the north, where they encountered 83-year-old James Monty, north of Lewiston, while he was walking his dogs, according to Idaho State Police. His body was later found in a desolate area. Meade is accused of shooting Monty in the head in an attempt to rob him, according to the indictment obtained by the Statesman. Man, YouTube's really going to love my talking tonight. I'm really throwing out the words. In their filing seeking the DP, prosecutors in Nez Perce County alleged that Meade had utter disregard for human life and has exhibited a propensity to commit murder. To have someone receive a death sentence, prosecutors have to prove there were aggravated circumstances to the killing. Meade is also a suspect in the Clearwater County killings. Deputies from the neighboring county found the body of Gerald Don Henderson, 72, in his cabin outside of Ofino. Police said shackles that belonged to Meade, along with Monty's dogs, were found in the cabin. So he picks on people that are old. Okay, I got him. Okay, we got his type. So both of those guys have been indicted and charged in Monty's death, and they haven't received any charges in the killing of Henderson. Idaho State Police previously said the case remained under investigation. ISP spokesperson Aaron Snell did not respond last week to an email seeking an update on the investigation. Both Meade and Umpire, I don't know how to say that. I'm going to figure it out. Umfenauer. I hate this kind of stuff. Like last names I can't pronounce. Umfener. Were also charged with crimes in Ada County. Meade pled guilty to 5 counts, 3 of which were related to the escape, and was sentenced in mid-July to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 35 years. Umfenauer is still facing charges in Ada County and has a jury trial scheduled for October, court records show. Okay. Kohberger is due back in court on August 29th for a hearing over potential venue change to move his trial to Boise. I don't know why I wouldn't load that, but it didn't. Do you think they're going to move the trial to Boise? I don't think they're going to move it. I don't personally think they will. I don't know though. I mean, your guess is probably as good as mine. They already moved Lori's trial to Boise. If they're going to move another trial to Boise, we might as well just have every trial that is in Idaho in Boise. You know what I mean? Like, that might as well just be the place where we go. Because, like, their little counties apparently can't handle these bigger cases. That's what it says to me. So, oh, man. I could put you to sleep during this little thing here. It was a lot. It was a lot there. But that was all the new documents, just the first one, the 16th supplemental request for discovery. And we'll go ahead and we'll watch this new Vinnie Politan. If you missed it, we did the one that Vinnie did on Sebastian's father last night. And tonight we're doing the one over Kohberger. Hey, Wizard Walt. Hey, Susan Sleuth. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for getting a membership, Mary Beth. I appreciate that. I thought I saw something earlier. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Hey, Brenda. Look up and you see people and everything. Hey, fur baby mom. I was on the other page, so I couldn't see you guys. But I'm going to go ahead and play this here, and we will see what it's about. And so basically, this is going to go over the whole investigation. It's also going to go over Vinnie Politan's interview with Kristi and Steve Goncalves. I don't know why my dogs were barking, but they did. Oh, there they go again.
I'm Vinnie Politan. The subject of my investigation is the Idaho student murders. This is the biggest case on the...
If you guys hear anything and you want me to rewind it too, let me know and we can do that. If you hear something that sounds funny.
Docket here at Court TV. And this is not the easiest case in the world to prove. It's a case based on circumstantial evidence. Here's more. Ethan, Xana, Maddie, and Kaylee were four friends living together in an off-campus house at the University of Idaho. They worked hard and were all flourishing as students and having the time.
No. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Okay. So sorry. This is like a side. We're doing a sidebar real quick. Sidebar. Cheryl said, is Steve sick? No. Steve got a new job. And I meant to tell you guys, and I have it on a Post-it note, and I kept forgetting to tell you guys. So I just want to remind everybody really quick. Steve is a member of the channel, a friend, family. He's family here. Well, he got a new job and he's working night shift. So we're going to have to get him on a time when he's first waking up. Probably like, I would say he probably sleeps a little bit in the, mornings. We'll have to get him like afternoon time. But yeah, I'm so glad someone said something in the chat. I didn't want you guys to think that he abandoned us or anything like that. No, he's doing really well. He wrote me and everything. He said he got a new job and he's working nights. And I was like, no, because, we'll miss him. But he'll be here, I'm sure, on his days off. Maybe he's off on the weekends. I don't know.
Time of their lives. They were popular and their house was known as a gathering spot for fellow students. All of that tragically changed in the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022. Those four students were stabbed to death inside their home. The brutal crime shook the community and touched the nation, setting off an intense manhunt for a killer. Students were afraid to be alone on campus. Some never came back. Investigators from the Moscow Police Department joined forces with the Idaho State Police and the FBI, following every lead, every tip, and every piece of evidence. That investigation took them across the country to Pennsylvania and led them to this man, a grad student at a neighboring university in Pullman, Washington. This accused mass killer has denied the allegations and claims to have an alibi. Where was he? What was he doing? And who was he with? We'll search for answers as we investigate the Idaho student murders. So, if someone's accused of a murder, and this is a horrific murder, your first defense and best defense is always going to be, well, it couldn't have been me because I was somewhere else. And in this case, they have a good window of time as to when they believe the murders took place. So what exactly is the accused killer's alibi? We took a closer look. The alibi for the accused Idaho student's killer is that while four college students were murdered in the early morning hours, he was out for an innocent joyride. Defense attorneys called their client an avid runner and hiker, claiming he often took drives in the countryside late at night and in the early morning hours to enjoy the moon and stars. The accused killer's filing says that once school started, his hiking decreased and his drives increased. His attorneys plan to present cell phone data and photos of the night sky that show he was in the countryside on several occasions. The defense says their client's cell phone was south of Pullman, Washington, and west of Moscow, Idaho on November 13th, 2022. So they say the car captured on video along the Moscow-Pullman highway near Floyd's cannabis shop could not be his. Floyd's cannabis shop is off State Route 270, the main route into Moscow from Pullman, Washington. His alibi does not confirm or deny that other surveillance videos of the white Elantra in Moscow is him. Here's the state's timeline of the accused killer's movements, outlined in their probable cause affidavit. Prosecutors say his phone pings in Pullman, Washington at 2:42 a.m. at his Washington State University campus apartment. His phone is on the move at 2:44 a.m. A few minutes later, his cell phone stops pinging. Investigators say that could be because the accused killer turned it off. And for the next 2 hours, investigators track his alleged movements using only surveillance video of what they say is his white Elantra. The state alleges that the accused killer drove from the WSU campus to Moscow by way of State Route 270. a claim they support with surveillance of a white Elantra seen heading in the direction of the highway at 2:53 a.m. and a photo of the same car near Floyd's cannabis shop further down the highway. The accused killer claims that it was not him. Cameras caught a white Elantra traveling through Moscow, first on streets near the crime scene, then on the victim's street from 3:39 a.m. to 4:20 a.m. Police say the accused killer turned his phone back on at about 4:48 a.m. near Blaine, Idaho, a rural community in the countryside about 10 to 15 minutes south of Moscow. According to the prosecution, from 4:50 a.m. to 5:26 a.m., his phone travels south towards Genesee, Idaho, going west toward Uniontown, Washington, a route that could lead toward Hawaii Park. The accused killer claims that park was his favorite place and that in the early morning hours of November 13th, he drove there. His alibi does not say when he got home, but the state says at 5:30 a.m. his cell phone uses service in Pullman, Washington. According to prosecutors, that's when he got home, not after an innocent drive, but after committing a quadruple murder.
So that's the accused killer's alibi, but that brings me to our first question. Let's take a look. Does his alibi make any sense? Court TV producer Cody Thomas is on the case and joining us from Washington State. Cody, there you are. Let me ask you, because it's very specific.
Maybe I could read it out to you guys a little better. That might be easier. It says, a review of camera footage indicated that a white sedan, suspect vehicle 1, was observed traveling westbound in a 700 block of Indian Hills Drive in Moscow at approximately 3:26 a.m. and westbound on Steiner Avenue at Idaho State Highway 95 in Moscow at approximately 3:28 a.m. On this video, it appeared suspect vehicle 1 is not displaying a front license plate. A review of footage from multiple videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1 starting at 3:29 a.m. and ending at 4:20 a.m. I was trying to find exactly when his phone went off. Fourth time at 4:04. Here we go, down here. He left at 4:20 at a high rate of speed. Okay, let me play this and I'll try to find that for you guys. I want to know the exact time too.
Specific where he said he
And I
went.
forget by
So my
offhand.
question to you is, does his alibi make any sense?
Well, Vinny, of course, it's up to the court to have a direct answer to that question. But I did go down to his favorite location, Hawaii County Park. And I also went at night to just kind of get a feel of the stargazing vibe that he was going for. It was a long drive. There was a lot of dirt road, several miles of dirt road to get there. Take a look at what this park would have looked like after dark at the entrance gate.
According to Brian Kohberger's alibi, he says during the window of time that the murders occurred, he was out driving around simply stargazing, specifically ending up right here at what he calls one of his favorite parks in his alibi, Hawaii County Park. Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with coming to a public park, doing what you want to do, stargazing included. That's what they're here for people's leisure in the community. But one caveat about this park in particular, it closes once the sun goes down and doesn't reopen until 7 a.m. And if you pan over here to the left, it's gated. And that gate is closed. No cars coming in, no cars coming out. So according to Brian Kohberger's alibi, he says he was here during the window of time that the murders occurred. Now, we know those murders occurred between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. Now, how is it that he could be out here at those times if this park is closed? Not to say his alibi is untruthful, but it does get a little muddy once you throw that crucial piece of information in here about Hawaii County Park.
And again, Vinny, that park is about 30 minutes west of Pullman in the opposite direction of Moscow.
Mark my words right here. Right here. I'm telling you, she's going to say that guy that was out, that was the witness, that was at the pool party. I can't remember his name. It's like, it's a different kind of name. I just can't think of it. But it was like the Hawaiian looking guy. I think he was like Hawaiian looking maybe. but he had like longer hair, and he was saying that he saw Brian Kohberger on the trail after the pool party. They had like met at the pool party through the other friend. And then he was out on this trail. He said, he doesn't say what trail it was. He said, I saw him on a trail like a month later, and he acted like we were best friends and like wanted to come up and say hi to me. And that guy thought it was kind of strange that he, Brian wanted to like kind of hang out with him when like he saw him on this trail. I'm thinking that Ann is going to place it to where that guy has to come in and kind of be a witness saying that he saw him on that trail prior. So that is something that Brian Kohberger could have done. Does that make sense? Like saying, oh, see, he's seen it here before. He could have been there. Like try to plant that little seed of doubt. But I don't think you're there at this early in the morning or late at night.
What's the drive like to actually get to that gate? Like, where are you driving? What are you passing? What are you seeing?
I'm not seeing much of anything besides all of these wheat fields that you can see behind me. And at night, it was very dark, as you can see on your screen right there. And I was out there maybe around 9:30 to 10 o'clock. And you can see there aren't many cars out there. There's one passing right here, but maybe 3 out of that entire trip that I took. And once you get off of this main road, you go down 7 to 8 miles of dirt and gravel road with fields on both sides and not much civilization at all. And in fact, at one point, my cell phone dropped signal. Luckily, I was paying attention and figured out how to get back. But after midnight, I don't imagine anyone could pick him up out there. And I find it weird that he was out there at that time in the first place, given what that drive was like.
Now, the darkness would work if you are going stargazing. When you were out in this area, were there any stars out?
Well, I was more so paying attention to the road, but the sky was very wide open, and I would say there's plenty of stars out. But again, I was trying to figure out where to go and make sure that I can make it back home. And we got a great idea from the video of what we're talking about here. This is not an area where you're going to come across anyone else at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, 3 a.m. It's just not going to happen. But are you passing any businesses? Are you passing any homes, any farms? Benny, you're passing nothing but open fields without barns, without houses, and all essence of the phrase middle of nowhere. That's what this park felt like. I mean, you were just going and it was dark and I had my bright lights on. Then all of a sudden up to the right, I saw the entrance gate and I was like, oh, there it is. But before that, you didn't see much of anything on this entire drive.
And I presume there was no one else at the park at that time.
Absolutely not. I was the only one going down that road around 9:30, 10 o'clock. I was the only one coming back off of it.
He also, I believe you said it was a place he would go to run or to hike. And obviously that's what this park is about, right?
You can't really do that at night.
This is a place where you get in touch with nature. It's way off the beaten path. And I guess it's a place where you can kind of get away. But is it a place you think you'd have to know about to come across?
100% you'd have to know about it because, again, like I said, obviously I was on the main road right here in the clip that you're seeing. But once you get off that main road, close to 10 miles of gravel, no businesses, no buildings, maybe just a couple of power lines running out to maybe there was a building in the park. But again, that gate was closed, so I wasn't able to go in and see what was actually in there at night. But from what I could pick up, you would definitely have to know about it, probably if you were a local or have gone to school out here at WSU or the University of Idaho.
And his alibi is that he's by himself. And how did you feel driving in that area by yourself in the dark, Cody?
I felt like I wanted to get out of there immediately. Of course, I wanted to go see what it was like, try to get a feel of what he was talking about, get a feel of his alibi, see if the stargazing was true. But as soon as I saw what I needed to see, I was out of there ASAP. All
right, Cody Thomas on the case. Thanks so much, Cody. When we come back, we're going to talk about some video that is out on the internet. And the question is this video, is it his Elantra?
And look what time it is, 4:07 and 41 seconds or so. I think he parked at 4:08, all right? And then at 4:08, probably exits the vehicle sometime after that. And then 4:20, it leaves at a high rate of speed.
On the next episode of Accomplice to Murder.
The call came in as a boy not breathing.
Paul was the person who had been carrying out a...
Wouldn't wake up? Accomplice to Murder with Vinnie Politan. Season finale Sunday night, 8/7 Central.
Only
on Court TV.
Today.
So we are.
Okay, I figured that'd be a good time just to pause it for a minute. Just to let everyone know, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. We're watching the new Court TV investigation. So investigates. I guess this is Vinnie Politan's new thing to do. Oh, he's kind of like Nancy, and then he went and got that footage of the road. Uh-oh, watch out, Nancy. Vinny's coming. YouTube channel now this. I don't know. But it's called like Vinnie Politan Investigates. It's on Court TV. So this is the Idaho 4 tragedy. Of course, we're going over that one tonight. And they're going to have an interview in here with Steve and Kristi coming up. And I believe their attorney as well.
Still looking for all pieces of evidence, but we are still looking for the weapon. And I will say that we have found an Elantra.
The Elantra, the white Elantra, perhaps the most crucial and important piece of evidence in this case in tracking down the suspected killer. They don't have the weapon, but they have this white Elantra. Now, the white Elantra is referenced in the arrest affidavit, and they connect it to the suspect, and it's referred to as the suspect vehicle in other parts of the affidavit. Let me read that to you because I think it's important. Videos obtained from the King Road neighborhood showed multiple sightings of suspect vehicle 1, the Elantra, starting at 3:29 a.m., ending at 4:20 a.m. So they have this window of time. Suspect vehicle 1 makes an initial 3 passes by the 1122 King Road residence and then leave via Walenta Drive. 1122 King, that is the crime scene. Suspect vehicle 1 can be seen entering the area a 4th time at approximately 4:04 a.m. It can be seen driving eastbound on King Road, stopping, turning around in front of 500 Queen Road, and then driving back westbound on King Road. When suspect vehicle 1 is in front of the King Road residence, it appeared to unsuccessfully attempt to park or turn around in the road. The vehicle then continued to the intersection of Queen and King, where it can be seen completing a 3-point turn and then driving eastbound again down Queen Road. Suspect vehicle 1 is next seen departing the area of King Road at approximately 4:20 at a high rate of speed. They are tracking this car via all this surveillance video. Now, there is some surveillance video that's circulating on the internet. This is a still frame from it. You look to the top of the frame, you see the little light there. What car is that? Whose car is that? And the question I have relative to that video is this his Elantra? Joining me to answer this question, host of Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Gray Hughes is with us. Gray, thanks so much. I know that you have looked at this timeline. You have studied the evidence. You've studied the videos. Let me ask you the big question, first of all. Is this his Elantra, in your opinion?
I would say 100%.
That made me laugh.
Like, I'm not even...
That made me laugh. If you know, you know, when it comes to me in this video is just, I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. I have PTSD about this Linda Lane footage. If you want to go back and watch the Linda Lane video, it's still up and me in all my glory. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to do a poll. That's why I closed out the first poll. I want you guys to let me know if you think this is his car.
Why do you say that? Why do you say 100%?
Well, if you look at it like this white Elantra is moving around and it matches exactly what law enforcement says in the probable cause document. And then the vehicle parks at 4:08 near the 1122 King Road residence. And then it leaves at a high rate of speed at 4:20. Inside of that 12 minutes, all 4 of the victims were murdered. And left at the scene was a knife sheath that had Brian Kohberger's DNA on it. So that DNA being on the knife sheath makes it absolutely certain in my mind that the white Elantra that was driving around, and by the way, missing a front license plate, as it drove by an A&W just before entering the area, it showed it was missing a front license plate. And in Pennsylvania, you don't need a front license plate, and his vehicle did not have one until he got new plates right after the murders. So there you go.
That's a huge fact.
Absolutely his.
That's a huge factor right there. So let's take a look at this video. Let's start at 3:31:02 a.m. Let's roll that video, and you tell me what you're seeing.
Well, just after it passed the A&W, it enters the area at around 3:30, then comes back around 500 Queen Road and
Tell me
does
what you're
its
seeing,
first
though.
pass right there.
Okay, I
And
see the
actually comes
headlight.
around and it goes right by 1122 King Road as it's making its pass around, and then it exits the area. And there might be some question now if it takes a right on Taylor Avenue or left, but it makes the same loop. But it might actually go right based on some audio evidence that's out there.
All right, let's move forward now. 3:38 and 53 seconds.
This is what I don't get about this whole footage. This is what I'll say. Remember when everyone was watching all this footage and everything? We didn't do that here. We watched 1 hour of it and it was it. But remember they were going on the bell towers. They were talking about the bell towers, like the bells. And they were saying that the video was off. They were saying by like a minute and something or so, because they were talking about the bells. Remember all those people talking about the bells? Because I remember them match up the bells, match up. Now we're not talking about the bells. So the bells are gone now. The timing is right. Like, that's what I don't get. Like, the timing is right now. Because people were talking, I'm going to find those people that were talking about them damn bells, but they were like the for the school or whatever, or the church or something, church bells. It was something bells, but they were going off and they were like, it's like 30 seconds after this or a minute and something after this, but I can't remember for sure because we only watched an hour of it because I'd rather watch paint dry than do that to you guys. It was bad.
What's happening now?
What is this?
Well, at this point,
if someone has to tell you what's happening, Minnie, it's not happening.
Takes off, it leaves the area again, and then comes back and then enters for the second pass and then goes right back behind 500 Queen Road again, and then goes back and does the same thing. I think each time he's driving by, he's checking on the status of the house. Don't you think that? Like he's looking to see if the lights are on.
He's asking him, do you think that?
Absolutely. The one thing about that house, depending upon
Do you hear that? They're feeding off each other. Do you think that?
where you are on that road, you get a really good view of the home and you can see which lights are on in which rooms. And if you're familiar at all with who is in what room, you'll have a good idea when it's a time to go good night. 3:56, 45 seconds is the next piece of video here. What about this video?
Well, that one's interesting because he leaves for quite a bit longer. And there's actually some evidence that's come out recently that he was at that. There's a gas station footage that came out really early on at 3:45, and that likely is actually his vehicle driving quite a bit to the east away, and then he came back, and now he's making his third pass, and I think this is when he notices perhaps that the lights are off in Madison Logan's room.
Jeff would know. That's who we need. I was literally just thinking in my head. I'm like, who could know that? The top of the hour bells are off by 2 minutes. That's okay. The bottom of the hour bells are off by a minute and 39 seconds. Okay, I knew it was something, but I know that people were timing that up with like this, and I was just like, after that, I was like, y'all are starting to put math into this, and I'm out. I'll look at something sometimes for a minute, but I mean, after an hour, I can't look at it no more.
Logan. I think.
And it's because I'm blind. That's why. It's because it's not you all. It's me. It's because I'm blind. And if I can't see something and I want to, and everybody else can see it, but I can't see it, then I'm like, I get like hard on myself. So
She was the actual target in the room he was looking
how are you doing,
at
Jeff?
when he was parked.
4:05.
So I think on each pass. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm going to move ahead to 4:05 and 19 seconds. So 4:05, 19 seconds. What's going on now?
Yeah, like at 4:04, it enters the area again, and at 4:05, it comes back in this area, and then it turns around in front of 500 Queen Road, number 52. So right where you see it stop right there, it actually does a 3-point turn also. So it does 2 3-point turns here. So 4:05, it stops and turns around. Now, we don't know exactly why it's doing this. Did he notice something in the front? Because this is around the time that the Uber driver was in the area. Right? So maybe he was checking to see what's going on with that. And then he drives, he stops, tries to turn around like you were saying. And then it takes off and then it does a 3-point turn at Queen and King, probably right around like 4:07-ish, something like that.
This guy's going to be doing all those things, all the things right before committing a quadruple homicide. I mean, he's doing all the things to be noticed. Pick me, pick me. I mean, he's going around in circles. He's backing up. He's driving forward. Like, he's doing all the things. Why wouldn't he just pull up behind on that hill and park there and just be like, let me look in the window? Like, you can look in the windows. You wouldn't be able to see the front, but I mean, you could always walk around to the front and not be noticed in that neighborhood. That's a lot of things to be doing, though.
And then after it does the 3-point
Maybe he
turn,
was nervous.
it turns around and drives back again behind there. And I think you probably have that clip too, right?
Yeah, we have 4:07 and 21 seconds. Let's take a look at that clip.
Yeah, and so here it comes around for that last time, and it's really going quick. And I think he's made up his mind now. He's going to do what he's going to do. He's got to, you know, he's seen that the lights are off. He knows her lights are off, and he's going to go and he parks the car. So look what time it is right now. It's 4:07, 45 seconds. He's probably going to park at 4:08. And then he gets out of the car and he goes into the house. And I believe he killed them all probably within like a 6 or 7 minute period inside that house.
Does everybody remember Gray Hughes' first video he did on the animation of the house? With the dog? Does everyone remember that? I mean, that video, that animation was so gosh darn creepy with Murphy the dog in it that I when I first saw it, I was like, what? I might have to find it. But we just kept watching it over and over. I'm like, watch it again. He's good at animations.
House. Now, a lot of people think that's not possible, but I've actually made some videos where you literally sit and wait in each of the rooms, and it's really a long time, like 7 minutes. If you just sit there and look at a clock and you have somebody that's in a frenzy, it's easily done. And you've seen other cases that are even worse.
Absolutely.
In a shorter amount of time.
And we understand there had to be at least some level of panic or something going on, because the knife sheath is gone and is left at the scene, becomes, as you pointed out, the most crucial piece of evidence directly linking him to the crime scene. So this didn't go 100% perhaps the way that it was planned, because you would never plan to leave that behind. Now, as we looked at this video, the one thing that is clear, and we have about 20 seconds here, the one thing that is clear, this video is in one location, but they've got camera and surveillance video, prosecutors do, in several locations.
Yeah, 112 King Road. So there's actually 1112 King Road. That's kitty corner there, has a great shot. I actually have
kitty corner?
A sample.
Is it kitty corner or catty corner? Okay. Is it kitty corner or catty corner? I thought it was catty cornered this whole time. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like in the corner, if it's like in the corner of the wall. Is it called kitty cornered or catty cornered? And if you don't know what I mean, then you all need to get to the Midwest, because that's what we say up here. Catty corner. That's what I thought. Okay, I thought maybe I was saying the wrong DM. I could have been. Dang it, Gray. Listen to him again.
Image from that house shot. I actually have a sample image from that house, and it's crystal clear. So when that car is coming around, they can tell it's an Elantra. So they were able to say it's an Elantra. There's a lot of people that say, oh, that's not an Elantra, but they've actually determined it was from that camera. And the one that goes behind there is a different camera. You can't really make it out great, but it fits exactly what the probable cause document said.
Gray Hughes investigates.
They cut him off too a little bit.
Much.
They cut him off a little bit too, but not as bad as Tony last night. Not as bad as Tony. And watch last night's Vinny Politan video. Go back and watch it. It's worth it. It's worth, even if you just go to the end of this, the end of the interview that they do, because it's golden. He straight cuts the music on. See ya. You're a suspect. Bye. Then he had to figure out what else to do with 21 minutes left in the program.
We'll keep digging for answers as the investigation continues.
Because they say kitty corner. Well, look at that. People being different, you know? Kind of like kitty corner. Let's probably start saying it now.
Vinnie
Watch me.
Politan, as we continue our investigation into the Idaho student murders, as a former prosecutor, I'm always concerned about the lack of evidence. Jurors are demanding, and you've got to prove cases beyond any and all reasonable doubt. So you want as much evidence as possible. So what's happening here in the case of the Idaho student accused killer? It's not going to be the easiest case in the world. Here's more of the story.
4 students were brutally murdered in their home near the University of Idaho. Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan, and Xana were great people with amazing futures that were taken away by a monster. The man accused of this horrific crime has denied doing it and has proclaimed his innocence.
He hasn't denied
There's
it.
no eyewitness.
Let's not get that twisted. He hasn't said anything.
There's no confession, and there is no direct evidence. It's a case that the prosecution has
He didn't
built
put in a
on
plea.
circumstantial evidence, which they believe is compelling.
What's a
We'll take a
Mary
closer
Jane?
look
What's a
as we
Marianne?
continue to
Mary
investigate
Jane.
Idaho student
Thank
murders.
you.
And there are a lot of ways that you attempt to gather the evidence in an investigation and in a case as you try to prosecute someone and build those pieces so you can tell the story and explain to the jury exactly what happened. Well, search warrants are one of the ways that you gather those pieces of evidence. Take a look at the search warrant affidavit from this case. Investigators located a tan leather knife sheath laying on the bed next to, it says Mogan's right side, but it's Maddie Mogan's right side. The sheath
Well,
was
that's
later
amazing.
processed and had K-bar and USMC, United States Marine Corps, and an eagle globe and an anchor insignia stamped on the outside of it. So in the search warrant, they say, yeah, we found a knife sheath, which brings me to my next question. And this is a very important question, which is, where's the knife? Where is the murder weapon?
Snake
Because
River.
you know, in a case where you don't have a murder weapon, what's issue 1 for the defense? Ladies and gentlemen, they don't even have a murder weapon. So let's bring in Court TV producer Cody Thomas, joining us from Washington State tonight. Also with us, retired police commander, host of the Profiling Evil podcast, Mike King is here. Cody, let me begin with you. Where is the knife? Where could the knife possibly be?
Well, Vinny, the first part of that question, we have to remember that the drive from Moscow to Pullman is only about 15 to 20 minutes tops if you go directly to between each city. According to the probable cause affidavit, Kohberger's phone pings on a drive that's well over that, maybe about 45 to 50 minutes, an elongated road home. And I took that drive, and I could probably pick out 100 different places you could hide a knife, especially after midnight. Take a look at this drive.
Now we are back here on the University of Idaho's campus here in Moscow, in the neighborhood of the King Road House.
I don't think he would have got rid of it that night. He wouldn't have had time with his phone turned back on at 5:30 something in the morning. I think he was heading home. I think he was already home. I think he did it the next day when his phone was turned back off. Trying to be a little sneaky snake, and you wasn't. And you went to the Snake River, and you threw all your stuff in there. That's what I think.
Where the
Or
crime
buried it.
took place. Now, what we're going to do
Maybe
is we're going
buried
to
it
take
somewhere.
the drive that police believe Brian Kohberger took after he committed the crimes that night. Now, remember, he lives in Pullman, Washington, only about a 15 to 20 minute drive away from here in Moscow on SR 270. But his cell phone pings that night place him a little out of the way of what would have been a routine drive on SR 270. So what we're going to do now is go hit some of those key locations listed in the probable cause affidavit and see what that drive would have looked like that night. Now, according to police in that probable cause affidavit, they believe that Brian Kohberger exited the King Road neighborhood here at the intersection of Conestoga Street and Palouse River Drive. As you can see, a very wide open, very bare street. Now, remember, during the window of the murders, Brian Kohberger's phone did not ping on any local cell towers. You know, some police believe that he could have had it turned off, he could have been on airplane mode, but it was not pinging on any towers nonetheless. But around 4:48 a.m., it pinged going down this road, Highway 95, going towards Blaine, Idaho. Now, this is south of Moscow and about 32 to 35 minutes away from his apartment
and Pullman, and also going in the opposite direction. Now, as we continue down Highway 95 South, the probable cause affidavit says he goes through Blaine, Idaho, and then continues into Genesee, Idaho. That's where his phone was consistent with pinging off of the local towers. And you can see that this is wide open road, plenty of field on both sides of the road. And also to note, no cameras, no street lights, no nothing to pick anything up out here as far as cars going down the road. But I do see a couple cell towers on top of some of these hills as we continue to go. According to the probable cause affidavit, after passing through Genesee, Idaho, he then headed west towards Uniontown, Washington, before heading back up north to Pullman. And Uniontown is where we are arriving right now. And as you can see, still very barren out here. No surveillance cameras. But remember, this part of the investigation was not relying on the surveillance per se just yet, but more so on his cell phone pings out in this area. And keep in mind, we are still over a half hour away of what should have been just a 15 to 20 minute drive from Moscow back to his apartment in Pullman. I just wanted to stop and show you guys a further lay of the land out here. We're headed from Genesee to Uniontown,
that's even
Washington,
more backwards than where I'm
some
from.
of his phone
Like, I thought where I lived was some backwoods stuff, but no, I mean,
pings were picking up on the way
nothing.
back to Pullman. Now, as you can see, this is a dirt gravel road. Not a single car, for as far as you can see, in either direction. And no surveillance cameras, no street lights, ample acres, massive expanses of land. Now, remember, we do not have a murder weapon in this case. We don't know where he ditched it, but out here among all this land could definitely be a possibility, especially around 4 a.m. Perhaps the murder weapon could be somewhere out here along with some of those bloody clothes if he allegedly committed these crimes. We have now, after making that long loop of a drive, we've arrived back to Pullman, Washington on the Washington State University campus. We are now on Stadium Way. This is one of the main strips on campus. It's also one of the main roads mentioned in that probable cause affidavit. It's one of the roads where they say at many intersections, cameras picked up Kohberger's white Elantra as he arrived back here after 5 a.m., somewhere around 5:25, 5:27 a.m. As you can see, it's very busy around here with students walking around on the sidewalks. And we're coming up on one of these intersections here now. So let's see if we see any cameras.
Right
and
there.
I see 1, 2, 3. I count 4 cameras at this one intersection on each of these traffic posts. Now another intersection right here. There's one camera right up ahead. You can see it standing vertically off of that post, and the one to the left also has a camera on it. So no doubt that
The
some of these
building will
cameras,
have them
if
all
not
over it.
caught Kohberger in that white Elantra after 5 a.m. I'm coming back from Moscow, Idaho. And here we are now, finally arriving back to those Steptoe Village University housing apartments where Brian Kohberger, the alleged suspect in the Idaho student murders, this is where he lived at the time in November of 2022. What was supposed to be a 15 to 20 minute drive turned into about a 50-minute to an hour-long drive on all that barren land, that wide open road space. We know the basis of this investigation was a combination of his cell phone pings along with surveillance footage of that white Elantra, but it all ultimately allowed for police to lock Brian Kohberger down as a primary suspect back here at the Steptoe Village Apartments, where it all began on Washington State University's campus. Now, of course, Vinny, there's no official definitive answer outlined as to why he took the long way home. Perhaps it may coincide with his stargazing alibi, but as for now, we'll have to wait and see.
Mike King, where's the knife? Where's that knife?
Cody did a great job of describing how vast that countryside is there, Vinny. And you know what? I suspect that knife wasn't just disposed of in a really erratic manner.
He's not going to throw this knife just anywhere. This is important, I feel like, to him.
Kohberger, if in fact he's responsible for this, realized that he left the sheath behind, because that all of a sudden upped the ante on the value of that knife if they were ever to recover it. You can't even find a body in that many square hundreds of miles out there, let alone finding a small knife that probably now is under dirt. It's probably been turned over by a farmer somewhere in a field, and we may never see that thing.
The other part, the clothing, Mike, what are your thoughts there? Like the knife, a little bit smaller, clothing, a little bit more difficult to get rid of potentially. What are your
And if he buried it, he would have already had to have the spot already dug up because it would have been solid, probably November. It would have been like frozen a little bit. You know what I mean? Not maybe not frozen solid, but it would have been too, I think, hard to maybe go out there with just like a shovel and freehand and do. You know what I mean? Not without maybe being during the day. Does that make sense?
What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I think what we see, if this is the responsible guy,
What do you guys think
we
he did
see
with
that
it?
there was a great amount of organization before the homicides occurred. And so, and what generally happens with an inexperienced criminal is that as soon as they break out into the crime spree that they're going through, everything that they plan for goes out the window and they become disorganized. But the idea that he may have pre-configured how he was going to dispose of the clothing. We know there were clothing changes, that it's pretty reasonable, I think, to just theorize that he already had a dumping spot figured out for that, whether it was a dumpster or multiple dumpsters, because we know he's gone east of the residence. He's living west of the residence. He's traveling through all kinds of countryside to the south. And like we've seen in other homicides, Vinny, some suspects in the cases throw pieces out in different locations to try to make it a lot harder. And as they spread that out, it's less noticeable to somebody passing by. A little piece of sock in one garbage can and a sock 5 miles away in another could completely throw people off and never raise this thing to the level of suspicion.
All right. And again, this is some of the evidence that isn't there that worries me as a former prosecutor. Mike King staying with us, Cody Thomas staying with us there. Next question. What was he doing after sunrise?
Surveillance camera inside the grocery store shows Kohberger going inside and buying some unknown items before coming back out and leaving.
I did a video in Albertsons for you guys because I didn't know what an Albertsons was. Like I knew it was like a grocery, but I didn't know exactly what it was. And we saw them when we were in California, and I was like, pull in here, let's do a video really quick. So we did. And I also did a video over the K-Bar knives because I went to a shop that was inside of a mall of all places in California. They had a big knife like emporium. Like, I mean, this place was huge. It was like as big as a JCPenney or something. And they had every single like kind of weapon that you could think of like that. And so we went in and they had like different kinds of K-bars, which I didn't know that there was like there's different models, I guess you could say. And we looked at those. Now the knife sheath is what surprised me compared to the knife. I mean, the knife surprised me, but the knife sheath surprised me. It's huge to me.
One of the most successful.
Like, I feel like you wouldn't forget that. And if you did, you probably knew you did.
True crime TV shows ever.
This is crazy.
Now has a new home on America's original true crime obsession. 48 hours on Court TV. Coming up next on Court TV. Join Court TV's Vinny.
Now, let's look at the other side of all of that.
Vinny Politan Investigates. Weeknights, 9/8 Central. Only on Court TV.
The Latah County coroners conducted autopsies, and detectives have been provided with the results of those autopsies. We know that the autopsies confirmed the identity of the 4 victims, determined the cause and manner of death as a homicide by stabbing, and determined that it was likely all 4 victims were asleep during the attack. Some of the victims had defensive wounds, and each victim was stabbed multiple times.
So difficult to look at those photos of those young people taken at such an early age. It's incredibly sad, incredibly tragic. And when the story first broke, one of the unusual facts that came out early on is when 911 was first called in this case, because we know the murders are taking place like 4 o'clock in the morning. So when are they first noticed? I want you to take a listen to Captain Roger Lanier here from the Moscow Police Department and talking about the first call to police.
On the morning of November 13th at 11:58 a.m., a 911 call was placed to the Whitcomb Dispatch Center reporting an unconscious person. The call originated from inside the residence and was made from the phone of one of the surviving roommates. Moscow Police Department officers responded and located 4 victims, 2 on the 2nd floor and 2 on the 3rd floor.
So this is almost at noon before 911 is called. And there was a very strange fact in all of this. But now you look at the timeline. Okay, so we know the investigation begins at noon, but that brings me to my next question, which is about the accused killer. And what was he doing after sunrise? Where was he? Where did he go? What did he do? Let's bring back in Court TV producer Cody Thomas, who is in Pullman, Washington. So what did he do after sunrise, Cody?
Well, Vinny, he made a couple of stops later on that afternoon into the evening, the same day of the killings. He was even caught on camera at one of the locations in person, so there's no doubt about that he was there. But the thing about those locations is that they were almost an hour from Pullman and Moscow. Take a look.
So we're back here at the King Road location. You can see it right here behind me where those murders took place on November 13th, 2022. Now, what's interesting about that day, of course, you know the murders happened between 4 and 5 a.m., but around 9:36 a.m., a few hours after the murders, Brian Kohberger's phone pings in the area yet again. Now, did he return to the crime scene? We don't know. That has yet to come out. We'll learn those details, of course, during the trial. But he also went to a few more out-of-the-way places of his apartment and this location about 45 minutes away. So we're going to go check some of those places out right now that he went that same day, later that afternoon, after 12:30, going into the evening around 5 p.m. So let's go check some of those places out. Now, according to the probable cause affidavit, surveillance video from this U.S. chef store here in Clarkston, Washington, picked up the white Elantra passing by this Kate's Cup of Joe espresso stand. It's also consistent with where his phone was pinging here in Clarkston at the time. It happened around
That little place gives me Israel Keys vibes.
around 12:36, the same day of the murders. And he also showed up at another spot just up the road, also here in Clarkston, which is about 45 minutes away from his apartment and about 50 minutes away from the location on King Road where the murders took place. Around 12:46, the same day of the killings, Kohberger's phone pings right here also in Clarkston near this Albertsons grocery store. And not only does his phone ping, surveillance camera inside the grocery store shows Kohberger going inside and buying some unknown items before coming back out and leaving. Again, this is in Clarkston, Washington, about 45 minutes away from Pullman, where Kohberger lives, at this Albertsons grocery store. The last stop that Kohberger's phone pings was back up in Johnson, Washington, about 36 minutes back up the road north toward Pullman. But the interesting thing about that, it pings around 5:30 p.m. the same day of the killings, but from 5:36 p.m. until 8:30 p.m., his phone stops pinging to the local towers, similarly to how it stopped pinging during the window of time that the murders occurred on the same day. Now, is that suspicious? That, of course, will be left up to the jury to decide during his trial.
And Vinny, one more tidbit about those locations. To get to them, you have to pass over the Snake River. The Snake River separates Idaho from Washington State on the state line. Perhaps that could be home to the murder weapon or those bloody clothes that we've been speaking about.
Perhaps.
Yeah, I remember the Snake River Canyon from years ago. You're too young, Cody, but that's where Evel Knievel attempted one of his jumps. Mike King is
My dad liked Evel Knievel.
still with us as well. Mike, what are your thoughts about what the accused killer is doing after sunrise? And let's start with going back towards the scene of the crime, because if he's back there at 9:30 in the morning, there's no police cars. There's no one there because 911 hasn't been called yet.
Exactly, Vinny. And this thing is really interesting when you look at it from the perspective of criminal behavior. If, in fact, this is a predator who has fantasized about committing these murders, planned them out, and then looks for the news to come out and validate his work, and nothing comes out, it's got to be incredibly frustrating, which then prompts him to come out of the lair and drive by the location to figure out, have they even discovered this thing has happened yet? And I think that's really what we're going to find in this trial that comes out clearly, is that drive-by was, number one, to validate that the police are either there or not there investigating it, and to reaffirm this monumental task that the predator feels they accomplished by killing these 4 kids. And it's really frustrating to think about it from that perspective. But then I think your questions are maybe going to go south of here, and I'll add on to that as we go forward.
Well, go ahead, Mike. I'm looking at a couple of the different stops here. You know, I understand the coffee. This could have been an all-nighter for him. Might be getting a little tired. Maybe some of the adrenaline is running out of his body at this moment, and you get a cup of Joe. But then the purchase at this Albertsons, I know there are supermarkets much closer to his home.
Exactly, Vinny. And you know what? I think it's going to be really interesting if law enforcement was able to collect a receipt from Kate's. I'd like to know if this guy got a double shot of caffeine on that cup of coffee, because if in fact it's him, he was up all night and he has to be pretty dang tired, regardless of how wired he is emotionally. And, you know, that could keep you going for a long time. But the other purpose of going south wasn't to get a cup of coffee. Albertsons might be just makes perfect sense. Maybe the guy was hungry by that time in the morning, or he needed to stop and use the restroom. 100 reasons that we could come up with why he needed to be in there. And I think that's going to come out if we actually get the full detail of the receipts of what was purchased there. But don't forget that the night before, or the hours before this, right after the murder, during that time when his phone is turned off, it's believed that he's making a couple of trips here and there. And then the phone comes on and we see him just north of that Lewiston location in 2 different places, that phone pinging. Again, the artist wants to see their artwork. And it might be that he's driving by those locations where he potentially dumped clothing or the knife, or he washed up afterward, and he wants to go by to make sure the law enforcement investigators aren't there, that he hasn't been burned in those specific locations. So it's the bear that's...
When you went by early that morning, they weren't, and they didn't know. No one knew yet. You were probably shitting yourself like, what the heck? You were probably dying like, what is going on? Why isn't everybody up in arms right now? Why are the cops here? Why aren't the ambulances here? Why isn't anybody here? I mean, I think he probably went by and was like, what is going on?
Buried its prey, going back to make sure that that site is still secure.
That makes so much sense. So much sense. Hey, Cody, I just want to make sure that I'm correct here, because I haven't been out there. You're on the ground. That Albertsons, are there other grocery stores that are closer to his apartment than that one?
Without a doubt. There's Walmart's, there's a Publix, and there's even a Target right next to Washington State University. So there was absolutely no reason to be almost an hour away down in the Snake River Valley.
Yeah, all of this is incredibly suspicious. It's circumstantial. It's not direct evidence, but it's part of the pieces that prosecutors have to put together and then pile up inside that courtroom to try to prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt. Big thanks to Mike King. Always great to have you. Cody Thomas on the case, doing great work as always. Thanks so much, Cody. Appreciate it. Okay. You know, when this case first broke, one of the big concerns that I think a lot of people had, we weren't hearing a lot of information from investigators, and it was a small town operation, right? Moscow, Idaho, small department, kind of in the middle of nowhere, rural. But what they did is they reached out and they got help from the state police and they got help from the FBI. And because of doing that, these prosecutors have been handed real evidence in this case. Things didn't escape this investigation. It was thorough and it was legit. And that's why I think prosecutors will have a great shot. I'm Vinny Politan. I'll keep digging for answers as the investigation continues.
Okay, sorry. I thought it was on that video with the interview, but I have the interview with the Goncalveses. I was like, man, I just made them go through the whole interview, but I thought it was, sincerely, I thought it was on this one. I just realized that he was wearing a different shirt. I was like, oh, but I have it. It's right here. But that was just him, you know, Vinny Politan Investigates. I liked that. I enjoyed that. The visuals was nice because the drive, Nancy Grace did the drive either to the crime scene or from the crime scene. I think she did both ways. And she only played it like on one video. And it was one time, like back when she was in Idaho, back in December or January, 2022, 2023, when she was there. And then she only had like little snippets of it, like 8-second clips. And that's all you could see. So you couldn't really tell. So we, here on the channel, I found a video of somebody actually just driving it. No one that was even involved in this case. They didn't even know about this case. It was just somebody making that trip from one spot to the next, like from Moscow to Idaho, or from Moscow to Washington State. So it worked out for us because we got a visual. But now we have this to have a visual of the drive. So yeah, there's nothing out there. Vastness, just like in the case with Veronica Butler and Jillian Kelly. The 2 women that were unalived by the 5 cult-like members. That's how it was out there too. You could just see it's just vastness. They have mountains out there in Idaho, but still vastness. Like there's a lot of land. Like we have a lot of land in Ohio, but we have like trees everywhere. I don't know. It's just different. You can't see it like that. That's scary, Native. I didn't even think about that. To be a survivor knowing that the killer had driven back again, that's even scarier. I never thought of that. Like being them girls, like think like, wow, yeah. I never thought of that before. That's why I love you guys, because you guys always get my brain thinking. Now I'm thinking, because really, then we found out, like, we got this came out right after he was arrested, so it's not like they didn't know. They definitely knew. So I want to play this for you guys. Also, on the podcast that we go over on this channel for the Idaho 4, they have a new video out. So we'll go over that this week. And I'll put out I think we're like 1 or 2. We're 1 at least behind on me pre-recording it. If you guys just want to watch it, I'll pre-record it. So I'll have that out this week. So let's go over here. And then you'll see Vinny again, but he's wearing black shirt. But look at those blue shoes. Look at those blue shoes. Vincent has a pair of blue shoes like that. I made him buy them. He would never buy them if I didn't make them. I was like, they're really cute.
Father of Kaylee Goncalves, Steve and Kristi Goncalves are with us, as well as the attorney representing the family, Shannon Gray. Thank you all so much for being here. I know this is never easy, but I think the nation has.
Okay, just first and foremost, her parents look really sad. Like real sad, this interview.
Seen the strength of your family, Kristi and Steve, and as you sit here tonight, what is justice for you? What is justice?
That's a hard question that we've thought a lot about. Sometimes I feel that there is no justice. Nothing's going to bring the kids back. And therefore, the only thing that would be justice for me is for this person to be living in agony in the depths of hell.
I know that there's a lot of families who don't actually get somebody that is actually charged for it. So I do feel that we are lucky in that standpoint, and a lot of detectives and investigators put in a lot of hard work, and we're lucky to have that, and we want to be appreciative for that. It's a long, slow process, but we're willing and we're ready to do that. We're ready to put in the time and the effort and get through this, and just show people that this is the way that we can see justice in action, see the truth being taken in place, and then the right outcome, and society gets back to normal.
Shannon, this is a difficult journey, an absolutely difficult journey. That's why I'm so glad that you are there to help this family through this. What is your take so far on how our system of justice is doing in this case?
It's a tough question because, it's a small jurisdiction. I work in a much larger jurisdiction where things move a lot faster. You think things are going to move a certain way, and sometimes they don't. So it's been difficult for the family because
it looks like Steve and Shannon, Attorney Gray over here, they both look like they're in a competition on who can lose the most weight the fastest. They both look like they've dropped 10, 20 pounds.
a lot of times I'll say this is how A, B, and C should happen, and they don't happen that way.
Right.
I have to explain why it didn't happen, and why it's taken so long, or it's taken longer than usual, or why the prosecution or the defense have done things that they've done. But I'm small compared to what Steve and Kristi go through every day. I'm just thankful that they found me, that I can help them and answer any questions I can about them, and ease their minds when their minds need to be eased about the criminal justice process and what's going on. I mean, they're always going to be a part of my life, and I love them to death. So.
Oh, that's real sad.
Kristi, what are the plans for the trial when it happens?
Well, we'll know more at the end of this month when the change of venue is heard and is decided. We plan on being there.
They should have that trial right where it's at in Latah, because these families shouldn't have to drive 6-7 hours just to see a freaking court case when it's their child, when they shouldn't even have to be doing that. They don't want to be doing it. They shouldn't have to be doing it. And then you're going to make them drive even further away, make them get a hotel room for like 6 to 8 weeks, however long this trial is going to be. Not a day in my life. I bet you he pleads out, but he better just plead out. Try to.
We want to be there. There's about 10 of us in the family that intend on being there for most of it. Obviously, there's going to be days that we will not be there intentionally for, but we're hoping that it stays in Latah County. So, that's a 2-hour drive for us. The further counties that they're looking at would make it hard. So we would have to relook at things. But we want to be there.
Families have to work.
Tend to be there.
Steve, as you have been on this journey now, it seems like forever, I'm sure, for you. Do you see any light at the end of the tunnel? Do you see that, hey, at some point, this page will turn?
Mm-mm.
I think of it as this is a living example of how we get things right again. Latah County did everything. The reason this is so slow and this process is taking so long is because they tried to do everything exactly by the book so that the community could see the justice, they could see it, and it wouldn't have to be taken, Idaho's a large state, it wouldn't have to be taken, 6-7 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at this as a living example of the way we correct things. When things go wrong, when things fall off the rails, like you said, you send your kids off to college, the last thing you should think of is anything other than your kid being a dumb kid and doing something embarrassing to get them on a camera or something that you're going to see at your employer the next day. That's like really bad. And for murder, for death, that's just not, that can't be new normal. That can't be something that we accept as a society. So I think we can be a living example for everyone, how we can course correct and figure this thing out and hold somebody accountable and, show that this is just a one-off that, won't happen and it's nothing new normal.
Kristi, are there moments where you can have happy memories? Are there moments where you can smile and think about Kaylee?
Oh, absolutely. You can't think about Kaylee and not smile, and we have so many happy memories and so many videos and so many pictures. And I look at them all the time. It's those late nights that get you, and you think of the tragedy that unfolded, and it's terrorizing, it's traumatizing, but there are happy moments. There are.
Steve, if this gets the conclusion that we're all hoping for, which is the truth comes out and there's a conviction, are you prepared to make an impact statement?
Yeah, I just know my family. I know my kids. They're all strong. They're all intelligent, super smart. Every one of them has already wrote it out. They've already got set in stone. So yeah, we're willing to and just thank the community and thank all the people who've put their lives on pause so that we could have that moment, so we could have the justice, because it doesn't just happen by accident. And we've got people like Shannon in our life. It's amazing what we've been able to see, how people shown love to our family and reached out to us and flooded us with letters and different things. So yeah, I feel an obligation to all the people that have been with us this whole time. And that's why there's that sense of pressure that, this has got to turn out a certain way. And we're looking forward to seeing that turn out.
And Shannon, do you expect any problems with all the victims that want to speak, being able to speak, if and when we get to that part of this case?
Yeah, that was an odd occurrence that happened over in the Lori Vallow trial, where the judge was pretty, I don't know, strict or adamant about following the statute when it came to who could speak and give victims impact statements.
Yeah, that was
most of the time, the
stupid.
immediate family and those things will be able to speak. The judge may put down, his foot.
They were trying to say Mr. Woodcock, right, that he couldn't speak during the sentencing, when
it comes to grandparents and other things that under the statute currently aren't maybe allowed. Unless they're serve as a representative for the family. But I'm hoping that the whole anybody gets to speak what they want to. There's a reasoning to it, but I don't see there being any problems in this case. So
I don't think we're going to have, but I don't think the judge is going to let everybody speak. I mean, if you think about it, just Kaylee's family alone, they have 4 or 5 kids, and then the 2 adults. I'm just saying, 4 now. The judge would have to say, he'd have to put a timer on everybody or something. But I would be feeling some type of way if I had Steve telling me how much of a disappointment and how much of a loser I was, at sentencing. I can only imagine what his victim's impact statement would be like.
That's good to hear. Shannon Gray, thank you so much. Kristi,
it's going to be
and
impactful, definitely.
Our thoughts are with you, and that the nation's thoughts are with you, and our best to all of your family. Thank you so much.
For sure. I can't even imagine. I couldn't even imagine. That's like someone's worst. That's literally your worst nightmare as a parent. Send your kids off. And then this happens. And this was such a big case. It's still a big case. But I mean, when this case first happened, we started covering it on, I think, the 16th, because it was a few days before it caught traction, where people were starting, and then after it caught traction, everybody was talking about this case. Everyone wants to know still what happened. Why did it happen? Who was it? The when, what, where, what, why, and how, all that. And I'm ready to get to trial. 2025, we're almost there now. Look at us coming right along. I mean, but if you think about it, it's less than a year now. We're in August. Before you know, it's going to be September. Before you know, it's going to be my birthday. My birthday's not till October, but it goes too fast. When we hit August, it feels like the next 2 months go by really quick. Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming in. Vincent actually just got home, so worked out. Wow. My dog was just trying to. Did you hear that noise a minute ago? I don't know if you heard. It sounded like a thud. It was my dog. She's got the longest snout. She has a real long nose, and she'll come up to the door and she'll ram her nose into the corner and try to open the door like that. She's going to break it off the hinges. One of these days, she's just going to fall off because she just went right into that. Thanks, Mary Beth. Happy early birthday. You see, now I won't be able to say you didn't tell me. You'll be like, I told you back in August. And so what they were saying in just, in that interview was just that, they don't want the trial to be moved. I wouldn't want the trial to be moved either. That's literally 6 or 7 hours they have to travel just to go to a trial. They'd have to use their their vacation time up. No, mm-mm. And if trials are going to be moved like that, then they need to start paying the parents and the loved ones, whoever wants to attend, they need to pay them, and not paying them no freaking $6 an hour neither. Like they pay you to be on the jury. It's like, I forget how much it is an hour. It's like, it's so low. It's below minimum wage. What you get. It's crazy. They had to rent a house in Idaho. They probably did Kelly Dime, actually. I didn't even think about that. And they were living in it. They were staying in on they look like a home, you know what I mean? Because a couple creators were there a lot. Not like a lot, but would do interviews. He got called on his first attempt. Yes, Squeaky. He got called on his first time. I think he went in there thinking that it was. I think when he went in, he realized after the first, maybe the second unaliving, that this was a lot bigger than what he anticipated. Because there's no way you could prepare yourself for this. I mean, there's just not. There's no way. There's no way. And if you guys didn't hear in the beginning of the live, I screamed out really fast. I was like, wait, Steve, that's usually in our chat. He's not here at night anymore because he works at night. So I want to let you guys know if you guys were just coming in and you didn't see that earlier. Because I've been meaning to tell you guys for the last week. Well, not week. It's been a few days. But he still comments on every video. And I love that. I still have to approve his comments every day because he does just little emojis that are cute. If they move it, Kristi said that it will be almost impossible for them to go. She said they'll try, but it'll be hard. Yeah, Mountain Woman. That they have jobs, How do you take off 6 weeks, 12 weeks, or whatever it's going to be? I think it's 6 or 8 weeks, they said, for the trial. I think total it'll be 12. I think 2 for jury selection, 2 for jury deliberations, and then the rest will be for, fighting their case. But if it's in June, like they want it to be, right? They wanted the trial to start in June, then they can do it at the high school right across the street in Latah County, and then you have that bigger building, and they can, maybe do something that way. I don't think it would be that hard to set up a couple, metal detectors and put some cops over there, just set it up. You'll be in there for 12 weeks. So, just set it up for 12 weeks. It's not fair to them. They should be able to go, Dreamcatcher. They should be able to go, and they should be able to sit there for any part of the trial that they want to be there. And they should be able to be there and be in a separate room for any part of the trial that they don't want to hear, but maybe they want to be there because they want their presence known. They should have an extra room for families, victims' families. That way they don't even have to see each other. Like Kohberger's family over here, the 4 victims' families over in this area. I wouldn't think it would be hard to set up a little fake mock jury setup. Try it for jury selection. If you don't like it, then maybe try to move it out of Latah County. But let's keep it. Let's keep it there. So I do have then. I think. Let me check and see when. I think the last one that we did was Mind of a Murderer on the podcast. So I do have another podcast I'm going to put out for Idaho. It's going to be a pre-recorded. It'll come out by this weekend, maybe 2 actually. So there might be 1 or 2, but there'll be at least 1, and then we'll watch one. Looks like there's another new one too. Well, look at that. Okay. Well, they're just giving us all kinds of new stuff. In the end, do you think BK's parents will talk to the families? Oh, I don't know. PJ second chance. No, I don't know. I wouldn't want to. I would if I was that's I would just want to peace out with my kid. I'd be like, you did this on your own. You were an adult. You did this. I don't know. I mean, I would think that if the adult mature thing would be to sit down and talk to them, especially after the trial. If after the trial, if he's found guilty, then yeah, his parents should probably say something other than, we pray for the families. But yeah, I don't think I would. I would be like, I'm just going to, I would just be too nervous. I'd be afraid Steve would pull back on me. I mean, if he can't get to BK, he can get to his dad. So, but I just don't see his family talking at all. Like, they've been so quiet. Like, even Elsa Ellerup, the Long Island or Gilgo Beach or whatever you want to call him, his serial killer, his wife, she even signed over her life for $1 million bucks to Peacock. She's talking. She's gonna be singing like a canary. She might be in jail with them by the time the end of this trial's over with, but she's got a $1 million contract with Peacock. I mean, I heard that they reached out, like the same people reached out to Brian Kohberger's family. I'm assuming they declined, but maybe they didn't. Maybe they said, we'll do it after the trial or something. I don't know. I personally think that I don't think he'll go to trial. I don't think he will. I think it's going to be like right before the time is to go to trial. And I think that he's going to take a deal. I think he will. And if he doesn't, then after jury selections, I don't give him going to trial, but maybe he'll want to do this. Maybe he'll want to play this whole thing out. I mean, he has nothing to lose if he's guilty. Really. I mean, you're guilty, buddy. If I was guilty of something, I would ride it out. I probably would, because you're going to be in your jail, in your prison cell for the rest of your life, miserable, lonely. I would, at least to get out of jail, I would be like, yeah, let's go to court every day. I can trust him whatever I want. Every day for 6 weeks. I'm just saying, if I was a criminal, I know, you think he's too arrogant to plead? See, I don't know. Because he hasn't said anything to me. Like, hasn't said anything to us. Like, won't plead, when they asked him, what's your plea? Ain't plead nothing. Like, if you was innocent, you would say he was innocent. You think he's too narcissistic? See, I want to hear him talk. So I hope it doesn't go to trial for the family's sake, but they're ready for it to go to trial. I mean, they're prepared for it to go. Like, I think that they all of the family members are ready for this to go to trial. And whether Brian Kohberger gets the DP or not, I think some of the family members don't really want that. I think some, family members do want that. I think that is something they're going to have to talk about at the end of the trial. I don't know. It's going to be, you should write him titanium. Maybe I should. I was in Brian's Girls until then. Well, now it's public, but it was a private group. I was in there looking at all the pictures of him with the butterflies and the hearts all around him and the kiss marks on his pictures. Oh, my Lord. Oh, thanks, Bullets and Bling. Wanted to send you a hug and say thank you for all you do for your viewers. That's so sweet. That is so nice. Like a little chat angel coming in. I appreciate that. Think he's too narcissistic too? We're going to see. We're going to see. And welcome in, everyone. We'll see what happens. I mean, I just hope that they don't extend the trial out. June is a good date. So if they don't move the trial, they're going to have it probably in that high school. So they're not going to be able to change the date because they're going to have the trial during the summer while the students are out of school to use the building. So in my opinion, if on the 29th, they should just come back he better have an answer. If John Judge does not have an answer for us, I'm going to write him a letter because he never gives us answers. I feel like we don't ever get an answer, but he's supposed to give us an answer to the venue change. If he says no, we're going to keep the venue here, then I wholeheartely feel like the trial will stay in June. It'll stay with the June date. But if he says that the trial is moving, then the date can change, in my opinion. He says it won't, but he doesn't have the power to override another judge's court. If he's already got stuff on the books, he's already got stuff on the books. He can't, you know what I mean? Like, so. Yeah, I want him to be on, I want him to get the DP, it's sad to say, but not even for the death part, because that usually takes, that's going to be like 40 years from now. We know that from other inmates on Idaho's death row. They've been on there for years and years and years. I think them being by themselves 23 hours a day is what he needs. Like, whoever did this is what they need. They don't need to be able to go inside and have a life inside a prison and go in with 4 bodies on them. Like, yeah, I did that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that, no. You don't think they're going to give him a plea? That's true. If you're not offered one. But see, I could see him doing something like, I don't know, trying to be, You say kitty corner too, Christina? Well, I guess half of us say catty, half of us say kitty. That's kind of crazy that it's half and half. Well, we can call whatever we want. It's in the corner. I'm gonna ask Vincent what he calls it. He'll have no clue. He'll say, "What are you even talking about?" He'll be the best one to try to use that on. Yeah, no more alibi. Yeah, he didn't want to plead. He's silent. Then he wants to give us the first alibi that he's driving around. Then he wants to give us another alibi. Well, not another, I guess, but he wants to embellish, put some more, characters in there. And he says that he was looking at the night sky, taking pictures. Who does that with no sunroof in the middle of in the fall and winter? You're going into winter. November 13th is like probably freezing out there. Actually, it was like 26 or 28 degrees that night. Cold. Freezing cold. I would not want to be doing that. Did you see the one, Christina King, that he did with Murphy, with the dog? Murphy sitting in there? That damn dog, man. That creeps me out, Gray Hughes, if you're listening. If this gets back to you, that creeped me out. I mean, it was good. Like, it was a really good animation, but I don't know, like the camera panned around and then you saw Murphy just sitting there in the corner of the room. And it was just like, wasn't expecting that. But you didn't see anybody else. You just saw just Murphy. But it was like, I was like, whoa, where did Murphy come from? Oh, I should have found that when we were on here, but I'll have to find it on the next live. We'll play it. I'll play it for you guys. I don't think he'll mind. I've played it before. I need to learn how to do animations. I really want to learn how to do them for you guys because I know that I'm a visual person and I think a lot of you guys are visual people too. And I think that would just do a lot for the cases. 4 lives, 4 families destroyed. Yeah. Think of all those people, Squeaky. That's a lot of people. So many lives. Just even people that didn't even know these students or their lives are changed. Look at us. Sitting here at 11:16, we're talking about it. Still talking about it. I mean, this happened a couple years. We're going on like 2.5 years by the time it gets to trial. You're definitely a visual person. Yeah. I looked it up. There's a certain website that they use, and I forget what it's called now, but I downloaded it. I need to just get on there and really play with it. I mean, it will take me a long time to figure it out, but I think Gray Hughes does that. Like, he goes on live and he'll do his animations while live or something. I think I've heard that. I don't really watch him a lot. I just watch the animations, but the first one I watched was Delphi, and he got me in with that one. So when he came out with the Idaho one, I was excited. Oh, it's 11:17 here. I just assume everyone has the same time as me. Oh, yeah. Don't ever. Yeah. Ash Native. Are you talking about T-Rev? Yeah. I saw, I was in Jones's live earlier. I was and laughing. We about went a different direction with our live tonight. We was about to do Betty. I mean, Betty, girl, she's love. She was in love and she's really hurt. If you don't know who I'm talking about Bullhorn Betty. She's really hurt right now. Her feelings are really hurt and she is out there putting them on full display. And I mean, some of the stuff I was hearing, I was like, what? Huh? I mean, I was like, what? So I was on Jones's in her chat and I'm like, I was actually text typed that like talk to text. So if you ever see me, I can never talk to text. My phone doesn't know my accent. I say words wrong. I'm horrible at it. And I'll send them all day though. I won't correct them. I'll send them all day. She's definitely lashing out. She is, Kelly Tom. She's so mad. And then you got T-Rev coming back on the scene. Is the no shirt a homage to me, T-Rev? Because you put a shirt on there for a while after I said something. You was wearing those little wife beater shirts. And then now it's no shirt again. And it's like a slow walk. He's walking back into the True Crime Arena. Yeah, he's walking back in. He says something like, I know you've heard a lot about me. Something like that. No, I haven't heard anything. I don't know. Oh man, I just can't help it. Yeah, he just don't give anyone your money. And don't Betty. No one needs to give anybody money for a damn lawyer. Betty. I literally was on the live tab. I was just cruising, minding my own business. I was trying to, but she's coming up on my For You page now because we reviewed her a couple times. So I'm on the For You page and I see Betty. So I click on the video because I'm like, oh, was she saying, was she doing probably the mostest with, let's see. And I click on there and I hear her saying, if you just want to send me money to my Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. I was like, what did I just walk into? And she's like, because I'm going to get a lawyer. And I'm like, what am I listening to? I'm like, we don't do that. Well, bad Betty. I'm like, bad Betty. No. And Aries, you don't make money on your videos on YouTube. You don't. You just don't. I mean, you don't really make it. You don't. So it's like, she's really wanting these people to give her this money. Like and then she's talking about JLR and some of the stuff she's saying about JLR. She better bring them receipts. I am so, y'all, before I get off here, I'm just gonna say one thing. I am so sick and tired of the word receipt. I don't even want to use it anymore. I hate the word receipt because I've never seen a receipt on YouTube. I haven't seen a receipt in months. I haven't seen anybody show not one receipt in months. No one's allowed to say receipt unless they're actually showing a receipt, except for me, because I'm saying it right now. We're throwing that word out of the way. We need something else. We need we'll call it a ticket or something. We'll call it tickets. Because, literally, you'll hear people say, when we leave this live, go back to any of the lives that you've watched today and just listen to the beginning or something. If you're in any lives like this, like they'll say, I'll show you the receipts. I'm going to show you these receipts. I've got these receipts. And then you're sitting there for 3 hours later. Not one receipt has been shown. And you're like, what just happened? You're going in circles. I hate the word. Also, it is what it is. That saying, it's out. We're out with that. I don't say it, but it is what it is. It is what, no, it's not. It is what it is. Hey, turtle. 69 receipts, Aries said. Aries has receipts. When did the word proof get exchanged for the word receipts? Yes, Squeaky. Well, it's like, seriously, y'all, what's going on here? Like, people use this, like, they're saying, I got receipts. Well, I used to, don't, we like, over here on this channel, if you see any of our names over in your channel, just show us the receipts. Don't even say a word. Just show the receipts. We'll put it together. We could put it together. Re-receiver. A gift. You're a re-gifter with the receipts. Maybe. I just say proof. Well, that people need, but that's what they're saying. They're saying that they have all this proof, but they don't. And then you listen to them and you're like, you can't even put a bra on for this. I said to T-Red before too. I told him to put a shirt on and he came in my live one night. He was mad. He was big mad. He said, who's talking about me? Me. I said something. It was funny. It was funny. I like to be funny. No, Mama, I agree. Magnolia seems like Magnolia is scoring with the women on the platform. She's scoring high points with us. Like everybody that I've heard talk about Magnolia today, like everyone has said, like, or in general, like how nice she is. And she genuinely seems like a really nice person. I don't really know her. I just know her from like being JLR's girlfriend and, coverage and stuff of cases. But I did see their video with them petting the horsies today. And I was like, oh, that's so cute. Like, and Magnolia, okay, first and foremost, she's beautiful. And second off, she's not fat. Like, Betty, we heard you say it. I saw a full picture of this woman, Magnolia, today. Like, full body shot. I think I'm bigger than she is. She's small. She's tiny. She's like a regular sized woman. You know what I mean? Like she's beautiful. I don't know. I think that I think Betty's just a little bit older and a little scorned. And, I think she thought this was a relationship, but I don't think he thought it was. That's just my personal thing, because we all know about Magnolia, right? We all know about her. We all know Magnolia and JLR are a couple. But did anybody know about Betty and JLR? Nope. None of us did. Nobody thought. No one knew. Thanks, Aries. You guys are sweet. It is creepy, but do you like, the only thing with me is, Richard, do you think that if I think she thought it up her head, but I don't know. I think it's because I feel bad for her. I have that feel, like, I have that little part of me that feels bad just because of the fact that, like, I would just, what if you were in so, like, delusional, let's say, that you thought this person really cared about you like you cared about them. And let's say, like, she's very delusional and thinking that, and then all of a sudden the guy that you think in your head, is your boyfriend, is going off with this other girl on new adventures. Like, I don't know. Yeah, Richard, I don't think he knew about this relationship. He hasn't said a word. And she said some things about JLR, and she better have proof. She said some nasty things about him being, like, saying that he put his hands up on people and stuff. And I've never seen him do that. I've never seen him do that. Caddy, Bailey said. We got another caddy. I should have did a poll. We'll have to do a poll. Well, no one probably know what we're even talking about. That's okay. PHP is delusional. Yeah. A little bit, Catherine. A little bit. She still had 900 people in there watching her, though, today, so I can't hate on her for that. I was in there watching it, and I had to get out. I had to peace out when I saw, she said, and I should have taken a screenshot of this, and I don't know why I didn't. Maybe I can go back and do it, but she probably don't have the live chat. But she said something like, I think that Katie and Chris had something to do with this. And then in the chat, it's Seth Rogers saying, me too, in my opinion. Or, yep, in my opinion. Something along those lines. And I was like, I'm out of here. I'm out. Like, this is weird. This is just too weird. I'm getting out of here. Like, I felt like I was in a conversation I shouldn't be looking at. Like a kid when you're little, you're like, I didn't see. I don't hear nothing. So she slandered. Yeah. Richard, he's doing an excellent job not responding. But you know what he may do? He may just slap her with a lawsuit coming out of nowhere with it. And he'll find you to serve you. Speaking of which, today in court, Betty didn't go. The protection order is extended until Betty has a new court date hearing. They're going to set her new court date because she couldn't make it. When we all know she's been hiding this whole time. Yes, the shower curtain was. Yep, was missing. I think that might, Christina, he might have taken the shower curtain to use as to put, like, either to sit on or to put stuff on. Yeah. No, I never watched. Haven't watched what he put over there. Something crazy. Probably something crazy. Is he digging up the ground yet? Because if Silver's going to be digging, right? If he's going to start digging up the ground, he better start digging because winter's coming. Yeah, she wasn't served, so everything was extended pretty much squeaky wheel. Yeah. She didn't get out of nothing. She didn't go nowhere. I'm surprised they didn't serve her with a bench warrant. They should have. They should have. They should have. If that was where I live in my county, they would have been like, you're going to be sitting here until you can come back for your court date. But I'm going to jump off of here. My cat left me. He was here tonight with me, and my dogs left me. So Vincent's home. So I'm going to go out there and see what they're up to. But I do appreciate you guys being here tonight. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, all the fun things. And I'll see you guys all tomorrow evening on our live. I may come on tomorrow during the day again to do a live. I've done that the last couple of days. So you might see me earlier in the afternoon. Bye, guys.